Hey YouTube, we've got a Klein tool haul with either new or new to me tools from Klein. So let's go ahead and get into that on Tinker with Tools. Now, Klein is a friend of the channel, and some of the tools on the table today were actually sent to me by Klein, but I am under no obligation to make videos about them. Everything I'm going to tell you about today, I think, has something cool or interesting about it, but I do appreciate their support. So thank you, Klein, but let's go ahead and get into the tools. Now, the first category is going to be the pliers, or like plier wrenches and different things like that. And the first one I want to mention is just the USA 250 tools that they did have over at Lowe's. Now, the reason why I want to point these out is because this pair of pliers is easily one of the nicest, smoothest, best action on a plier I've ever gotten. And it really just impressed me when I got them out of the package. I had no intention of actually using these. They were just kind of special edition by keeping the toolbox, show them off, things like that. But when I saw how nice they were to use, I instantly went out and bought a second pair to kind of keep nice in the toolbox. And now this is actually the one that is going to be using there. Unfortunately, these are now sold out, but I will go ahead and link to the kind of standard version of these in case you want to pick up a pair. I do think they're worth checking out. Now, the next one is actually a tool that I saw over on Tools and Tactics, and that is just going to be the German-made version of Klein water pump pliers. When I say German-made, these are actually not made by Klein. They are basically made by someone else for Klein, and that someone else is going to be NWS. Now, I've had good luck with NWS products. They are a premium kind of German tool company. These are actually going to be more expensive than the standard Klein water pump pliers. And in fact, you can get a pair of Knipex Cobras for cheaper than this, and I think those are kind of the gold standard. I'm not sad I bought these. I just do think for the price you can get something better, but I'll be sure to still have them linked down below in case you're interested. Now, one that I picked up just yesterday and I'm interested to try out and also see kind of what you think about it is going to be the Klein Pliers wrenches that just came out that are actually going to have a textured jaw or a knurled jaw, as they say. These are just going to be kind of a standard pliers wrench with teeth of more what you'd see on something that's meant for gripping. And so I do think that that's a little bit interesting, but really what caught my eye with these is just how nice they are to use. Now, I previously have purchased, I believe, both the 7 and 10-inch version of the Klein Pliers wrench that are available over at Lowe's, that are kind of in that black phosphate finish, I believe it is, or black oxide, I can't remember which one it is ever. But the main selling point here is just they're about half the cost of what I might be able to get a pair of Knipex pliers wrench for. The fit and finish on this pair of 7-inch though was something that right out of the box I was kind of impressed with. I first tried the 7-inch, they were awesome, and then I went ahead and tried the 10-inch, and this is one of the smoothest pair of pliers wrenches I've ever had. Now, the grips are also going to be something that's different. I'll have a close-up of these, but with these kind of standard pliers wrench, you're going to get more of the shiny plastic dip gripped handle, whereas this one is going to be more textured like what you'd see on kind of a standard pair of Knipex Cobras. And I actually really like these grips. Now, obviously, the elephant in the room is going to be the knurled jaw. I don't know how that's going to perform. Only time will tell. As long as they don't just mar the heck out of everything that I'm doing, and they do actually still grip pretty well, I think this is an easy recommendation for someone who's been on the fence with a pliers wrench. Go ahead and let me know what you think. Do you think the knurled jaw is going to help it, or do you think it's going to just be a nuisance? Let me know, because I'm interested to see what you think, but I'll be sure to have those linked down below. Now, the next section that we're going to be talking about is going to be some personal lighting options, and really these are going to be kind of work lights that I view as being able to go into your pocket or into a tool bag. The first one I'm going to talk about is going to be this rechargeable kind of folding work light that has a bar that extends out that then swivels around 270 degrees. That is going to have 3 different brightnesses up to 500 lumens, but then it also has kind of an inspection light there on the end. It's USB-C rechargeable, does have a magnetic spot on the base of it. Overall, for how compact it is, I think it's worth trying out. Previously, this is a light that I purchased about a year ago, but ultimately I never ended up carrying this in a tool bag because this is one of their older models, and it actually was a little bit bulkier than what I was expecting out of it. It's magnetic on the back, has a lot to like about it. It was just a little bulky and charges via micro USB. So when I saw this new one from Klein, this is going to be their slim rechargeable work light. It is basically all the things that I liked about this one, or even the competitor Milwaukee Task Light, but now in a slightly smaller package, and that is what you're getting with this. So once again, the main light here is just going to have 3 different brightnesses, and it is going to give you 500 lumens in that. It does charge now via USB-C, and basically everything that you're getting with this old one you still have on here, where it does kind of pivot around a full 360 degrees. You can put this any which way you want, but then it also has a carabiner here so you can hook it on stuff. It obviously can be hanging on a nail. Now, I love the Milwaukee Task Light that is like this, but that light is $70. This one is actually undercutting by $20. I think that's awesome. Definitely worth checking out, and a light that I think is going to be a great option for a lot of people. Okay, now we're going to be talking about some screwdrivers, and Klein has continued to expand their True Grip screwdriver lineup, which is going to be their ball grip screwdrivers with this new True Grip 8-in-1 screwdriver. And this is kind of a departure because this is not a fast bit True Grip screwdriver like we've gotten with the original True Grip screwdriver, and then also with the ratcheting version where you're going to have just this really nice bit holder on the front. This is actually just going to feature a 1/4-inch hex magnetic retention on here with a really strong magnet, and it does pass the magnetism through the bit. So if you need to hold on to a fastener really well, this is a great way to do it. Now additionally, this is going to have some bit storage down in the base with this kind of pull out little ball handle here, where you're also then going to get a little stubby, because now you can actually take the bits out of there, any of the different ones, and now you just have a tiny little stubby screwdriver. This is by no means a perfect screwdriver in my opinion, but it's pretty darn ergonomic, gives you the bit storage you're looking for, and really just kind of continues to expand on something I think that they're doing really well right now, which is exploring kind of just some tools that are going to have maybe better ergonomics than what their traditional stuff does. Now, the other two screwdrivers we're going to be taking a look at today, first is going to be the Impact 16-in-1, and this is going to have bit storage in the handle for single-sided bits. And because they're using standard 1-inch bits, if you lose one, you can't just go ahead and replace it with another Klein bit or pretty much a bit from anyone else, because they are going to work in this. You have just a little 1/4-inch bit holder here that is actually also then a flip socket. And so you do have the ability to have the 5/16 and the 1/4-inch nut driver here as well with the flip socket. And then obviously you can put a bit down there on the end. Everything is going to be impact rated, so you can use it with your impact driver. Allows this to be something more than just a standard screwdriver, but can also feed, like I said, your impact driver as well. The sockets, nice touch there. Now the next screwdriver we're going to be talking about is going to be the impact rated 27-in-1. So that previous one was the 16-in-1, gave you a couple of flip sockets. There's no sockets with this one, but you are still going to get an impact rated extension that you can go ahead and use in your impact driver. But then this is going to have proprietary double-sided bits. You're going to have 13 distinct double-sided bit combos to get you up to 26. And then they're counting the 1/4-inch nut driver in the hex handle as being kind of that 27th. The bit retention on there is pretty strong. The bits do fit snugly. And then it is not going to be the 3/8-inch drive like what we saw with the last one. This is actually now just going to have kind of a spring retention for a 1/4-inch hex. Both of these feature a slightly more slender handle than what you're getting on some of Klein's past drivers. And so I do think that that makes them a little bit nicer to use, and obviously goes in tool bags. But now the last screwdriver related item that we're going to be talking about is going to be another one of these Klein Connect boxes. This is going to be a Connect S, so the smaller Connect stuff. And this is going to be just kind of a very simple set that is going to feature only SAE. Surprisingly, while I personally tend to look for something that has SAE and metric, so I can kind of tackle a little bit of anything, one of the biggest things that I've seen in comments where I've featured these in the past is I wish they made it only SAE. Well, here you go. This is only SAE. So you're going to have a combination of pass-through sockets here that are going to go from 1/4-inch up to 9/16. And then you're also going to have a rail of flip sockets. Coincidentally, it's also going to have the same size. So you got the pass-through and the flip sockets. You're gaining a couple of bits that are going to be in here as well. Now it is a smaller kit than what I traditionally carry, and it is a little more focused because you're not gaining all the different attachments that I get, or even the full range of sockets that you get in one of their larger sets, but it comes in right around $50. So if this fits the needs of what you're doing, I think this is a good, well-made, low-cost option that is going to give you the ability to do quite a bit of stuff, as long as that covers kind of the sizes that you need. I like that they continue to innovate and continue to provide different sets, because I really do think it kind of rounds out what it has to offer. Now, the last item we're going to be talking about is going to be something I've featured in a short already, but this is going to be the Klein Electrician's knife. And this is a knife that when they first announced it and talked about it, I was actually really excited about it, because it is going to be a fixed blade knife that is going to have a crossbar lock on the back, has a bottle opener on it. It then also has a pass-through hole for making wire loops there on the end for outlets and stuff. And then it's got a dedicated wire stripper for 12 and 14 solid or 14 and 16 stranded. Obviously, I don't think you want to use this as the primary stripping option for what you have, but in a pinch, it will work for those. Now, the last thing is going to be a driver on the other hand. We've seen this on their Klein utility knives, and obviously they've kind of copied it from things like the Milwaukee Fastback, but it is a nice little driver to have there. Now, they kind of talk about it being a kind of one-handed open or being able to kind of flick it open. I have gotten the knife to be able to flick open by loosening things up a little bit, but it's a pretty fine balancing act between loosening it too much and getting it to open really well, and then introducing a bunch of slop in the handle. Right now there is a little bit more slop than what I'd like, but it opens really nice and still functions okay. But I've never been able to get the screwdriver to open up real nice and easy or go back in without just kind of having a really good flick on it. So it's not a perfect knife, and honestly, when I first tried it out, there were just a couple of things about that kind of seemed to be something that I wouldn't expect from a knife in the price range that I assumed this was at. I thought this was going to be like a $40 or a $50 item, and then I got on and saw it, and it's actually only a $24.88 or $24.98 knife. At that price point, I start to forgive a lot more things, and honestly, I think it fits in well there and gives you a solid option. Obviously, if you're someone who prefers razor blades, then I think their other utility knives are going to be better for you, but if you want a fixed blade option with a little bit of versatility and something that is smaller and more compact for pocket carry, fits in your pocket a little bit nicer, that's where I think this is a good option. And so for the price point, I think it's pretty good. If it were more expensive, I think I'd have more problems with it, but it's definitely worth checking out at that price point. All right, so there you have it. That is the Klein tool haul that we're going to be discussing today. Hopefully you saw something that piqued your interest there, because I know that they're always releasing new stuff that kind of gets my interest. I'm always interested in hearing what you have seen that kind of caught your attention, because obviously we may look at things differently. But if you like this sort of video, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Make sure to turn on notifications. And as always, thank you for your continued support. Until next time, I'll catch you on Tinker with Tools.